When you have reached this level of obvious super enthusiasm, the bubble has always, without exception, broken in the next few months, not a few years. It's always. You can't maintain this level of near ecstasy. It can't be done because you've put in your last dollar. You are all in. What are you supposed to do beyond that point? You can't borrow any more money. You can't take any more risk. In fact, you know in your heart of hearts, you have never taken this level of risk and you never thought you would. It's just that this opportunity is so exceptional. This is going to be your once in a lifetime. And how do you keep that level of enthusiasm going indefinitely? It would be surprising if you could have one that long that didn't end up with animal spirits beginning to freak out a bit. This one has. Normally it takes a nearly perfect economy and friendly Fed behavior, but this one has managed to do it with a somewhat wounded economy on a global basis. And to compensate for that, we've had even more spectacular Fed friendliness and government friendliness. And the result of this is the confidence has risen and risen until finally people are reaching for the greatest demonstration of confidence they have had in their investment career. They're borrowing more money to throw it into the market. Their belief in the market is profound. The common wisdom is that with the Fed on your side, how can you lose? And now finally, there appear to be almost no doubters at all. The belief is more or less complete that all it takes is the Fed on your side and stocks will rise. If you want crazy ones, and you need crazy, by the way, that's the best timing for a bubble top, is crazy behavior. No sales, no profits. There is nothing like that in 1929, nothing of that scale, nothing like that in 2000. The Ciscos of the world were pretty serious companies, but they didn't get to this level. 1929, of course, the Great Depression and global trade problems. You really just want to look at the first leg down, which was big enough. The analogy is much better with 2000. In 2000, it went down 50%. And the reason it only went down 50 and bounced back relatively quickly was because the Fed came charging in to the rescue.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
And you can have a lot of rescues when you start at a 16% long government bond in 1982. You can have a bull market as you go down from 16 to 12, and another bull market from 12 to 8, and another bull market from 8 to 4. But now you're down at 2.5 or whatever. You have to realize that most of the easy pickings of saving the game by ramping rates down is behind. At the lowest rates in history, you don't have a lot in the bank to throw on the table, do you? And the idea that, fundamentals, the real world doesn't count, all you need is money to generate real wealth, I think most people can feel is an illusion. You can imagine a situation where you had a much more serious virus, the economy really was on it, and the Fed would be doing everything. Would that be enough to save the system? In the end, the system is about the number of people working, the amount of capital spending, the quality of education of your workforce. That's the real work. We're talking about the paper, and there's just so much blood you can get out of that. COVID brought in spectacular excesses on the part of the Fed and the government writing checks. And I say excesses, perhaps it was necessary, but in any case, it was unprecedented, and the combination was very powerful. Without COVID, we cannot know. The market had resisted opportunities to bubble earlier in this 11-year cycle. It looked like it was getting pretty close about 3 years ago, and then it just kind of fizzled away. The confidence dissipated. The market had a decline. And those bull markets can go on forever, and you don't know how long, and you don't know how high they can go. The back of every bear's mind must surely be Japan. Japan in 1989 managed to get to 65 times earnings. It had never previously gone over 25 until that cycle. So that is the thing that makes the bears wake up in the middle of the night sweating. So you just don't know how long and how high a market can go if you avoid the burst of euphoria. It's the burst of euphoria that typically brings these things to an end. And we are seeing it all around us. Going short is for a handful of superstar experts, isn't it? Because, when you go short, you can not just lose your money, you can lose multiples of it. At least when you're going long, all you can do is lose what you put in. You go short and you can get margin called into bankruptcy. And a lot of people have done over the years. My recommendation is do not go short in all stocks. Going short the market is painful enough on occasion, but going short individual stocks is for mugs and for the 3 or 4 people who are brilliant to get away with it. The sad truth of a lot of the quote stimulus is that it didn't increase capital spending. It didn't increase much in the way of real production, but it flowed a lot of it eventually into the market one way or the other. And I have no doubt that some of this new round of stimulus will. If it's as big as they talk about, this would be a very good making of a top for the market, just of the kind that the history books would enjoy. And we will have a few weeks of extra money and a few weeks of putting your last desperate chips into the game.
I have bad news for you. If you're not rich by now, you're screwed. And if you're in debt, you're even double screwed. How so, you might wonder? Well, the sad truth is that you're working your whole life to make someone else rich. The mega corporations, the banks, the politicians, everyone is getting richer. They get your money. And what is even worse, they get your time, they get your life. You are not even in a rat race, you're in a financial prison. But what could a solution for you look like? Honestly, I don't know, but I know what a solution for me would look like. It's very simple. I use whatever money I have and I multiplied with 1,000. This could make my life much easier and probably yours as well. If you have $1,000 available and multiply this with 1,000, I believe that this could solve some financial issue for the one or the other. Of course, if you're ugly, you would have to multiply it with much more than 1,000. My name is Markus Dahn, and this is what I decided to do. I decided to 1000x my money. This is not a joke. I know what you may be thinking. What is this guy talking about? How should this work? This is not possible. Well, I made a detailed video where I laid out my plan. And some clever folks might even want to look at this plan and copy it and do exactly what I do. This is just a little hint on the side. You have 2 options. You leave, you forget what you have seen. You do whatever you're doing and you hope that somehow you get some other results. Good luck with that. Or you click the link below the video. You enter your email address because I'm not showing this to everybody. You at least watch my video on how I plan to 1000x my money. The choice is yours. Make the right choice. Join me. See what a different future you could have. See at least how I plan to do the 1000x. So click on the link below, enter your email address, and I see you on the other side. Your Markus Dahn.